On the Guardians broadcast Thursday, Tom Hamilton mentioned the Los Angeles Dodgers as a possible suitor for Tarik Skubal. Buster Olney on SportsCenter the following day also mentioned that the Dodgers may get Skubal, may make the trade to not allow him to go to another team they're contending with, on top of adding him to their already loaded rotation. Bull, I saw you tweet that if you think the Dodgers acquiring Skubal would be the final straw in Major League Baseball's need for some sort of competitive balance. So do you think for a lot of fans,
right,
would Skubal to LA be it basically with their patience?
I mean, I'm being a little hyperbolic because I think we've already reached the point of it. Like the owners have to bear down on this. And I hate being on the owner's side, and I'm not really on the owner's side. I'm on the fan side. And what's best for baseball fans is a salary cap, but much more importantly, a salary floor in Major League Baseball. The Dodgers are not the problem. I don't blame the Dodgers. I'm not angry necessarily about what the Dodgers are spending money. We would love it. By the way, if our owner spent like the Dodgers, not really possible, but he could spend a lot more. But I mean, Jimmy Haslam spends like the Dodgers, right? We'd be happy. We wouldn't want a salary cap.
Not at all.
So that's how it is. But I care about the game of baseball. And I think baseball is better off with a salary cap and a salary floor. I think it will benefit everybody involved. It will benefit, obviously, the owners because they don't do anything unless it benefits them. It will obviously benefit the fans, majority of them. And I believe it will benefit a good chunk of the players. Now, I'm leaving the caveat that maybe I, who always screams about the billionaires conning us, and that's what they do. Billionaires get us to root for them over regular folks. But professional athletes are not regular folks. They're millionaires, or the top guys are. And the top guys might be negatively affected by a salary cap, but the rank and file baseball player will not. Mm-hmm. In fact, they'll benefit. The guy who plays, doesn't reach free agency in Major League Baseball, which is a lot of players that never get to free agency because they're not, or they do, but they're not any good, so they don't get any money. Those guys, I think, will benefit by the salary from the salary cap.
Yeah, I think this is two different. I don't disagree with anything you're saying, but this is a separate argument because this is an in-season trade.
Yes, I know. A couple of people have brought that up.
Like
I used it as a springboard to just say that they got to do something.
I mean, the thing that makes the Dodgers, it's not just that they spend, the Mets spend, they don't win anything. Right. It's that the Dodgers have an incredible organization with a tremendous farm system that they're really good at drafting and developing guys, identifying prospects, bringing them up and having them contribute. And
it's the best organization in all of sports.
No question. Yeah, that's to me, that's indisputable.
Yeah.
When you combine what they spend with the way that with their farm system.
And the return on investment because they win championships.
You look at the other top farm systems, it's a lot of small market teams.
Anybody can trade for Tarik Skubal in the next couple of days.
Right.
If you're willing to give up your top prospects, you can acquire him and he doesn't make a ton of money and you can afford him.
Right.
So this doesn't fit into
it does on some level because the Dodgers can afford to be more aggressive with prospects because they have the money to spend to buy other players, whereas the Brewers, I'd love to see the Brewers, even as a Cubs fan, I'd love to see the Brewers go get Skubal.
I totally agree. I'd love to see
But the Brewers have to be more careful because even though they spend more than the Guardians, they don't spend big.
Right.
And the Brewers, interestingly, have signed 3 guys to long-term deals that weren't even at the time they signed them in the majors yet. But the Brewers have to be more careful about trading a top prospect because they can't afford to spend to find a guy if they lose out on that.
Sure, but if your goal is to win right now, and win the World Series right now, any team in baseball can go acquire Tarik Skubal, and it's not going to
financially, yes,
and it's not going to break
100%.
That's why I don't think it fits into this.
No, it doesn't.
Conversation
it doesn't
that we're
really.
Having.
Yes,
but I don't disagree with the larger point about the cap and the floor and everything else. I think I've said it before. The sport that has the most mistrust between owner and player is MLB, and it's the one sport without the cap.
Right.
And no player trusts any owner in any sport.
Which I don't blame them.
I don't either.
Yeah.
But it's worse in baseball. It's been my experience.
Yes.
Being around all three.
Especially since, what's his name has been the commissioner. I can't think of his name right now.
Seelig.
No.
Not Seelig.
Manfred?
Manfred.
And I mean, NFL distrust is pretty high too.
Yeah,
between player and owner.
Yeah,
but they squabble more over money.
Yeah.
In baseball than any other sport.
Yes.
It's just,
even in COVID, people forget, like, oh, baseball started late because of COVID. That's true. But it started later because there was this money squabble.
Yeah.
They could have started 3 weeks earlier, at least.
I'm with Bull. Baseball needs a salary floor more than it needs a salary cap. There are diehard baseball fans in pretty much every single city. And I know this year, I looked it up last week when I was on the radio.
Yeah.
But, Pittsburgh spent more money this year than they have in the past. Colorado even spent more money than they have in the past. All these teams that you wouldn't expect to have a higher payroll than we do has a higher payroll.
Yeah.
And for me, I look at it from a standpoint of, if you want to increase viewership, if you want to get people excited or even bring new fans in, then there's got to be some type of balance there. And this thing has been out of balance so long that you get certain owners who really don't care about spending money because they'll make every excuse not to do so.
Yeah.
You mentioned the Mets, right? And Jason is famous for saying, the Haslams, for example, they just throw money at everything and think it fixes it. But that's what the Mets do in baseball.
A lot of times.
The culture is horrible. They just throw money at a bunch of players and think they're going to be good because they spent a lot of money. To whereas you look at the culture that the Guardians have here, solid culture, great front office, but you got an owner who won't really give them real capital to go out here and field a baseball team that can be better than what it already is. There's got to be some type of balance there that will, in my opinion, intrigue the fans. Not just the diehards, but more of the casual fans. You get better players on your team, you get more people that's interested. I tell people this all the time. There are more casual fans, in my opinion, in Cleveland than diehard baseball fans. But when the Guardians are really, really good and they're competitive, there is no better place to be in the summer than Progressive Field.
It's the best.
So if you know that and you've seen that Paul Dolan, then why don't you do something about it to continue that? It don't make sense to me.
Yeah, because he knows they got a good front office and a good culture, and they win, so he doesn't care.
It's crazy.
He's not willing to do what it takes at all costs.
They had a family reunion this year. He probably showed up to the family reunion. His first cousin was all putting his jewelry in his face, talking about, we done won the NBA Finals. What y'all doing over there?
Yeah, right.
Nothing.
Yeah. I don't think those Dolans spend much time with each other. Jason?
I don't know. I don't follow them around.
I thought you were authority on that.
On Dolan family relations.
I can see it now. Like, if that was my family, your cousin won the championship now. What you gonna do?
Yeah, right. All right, when we come back, we're doing fence riders. We've got actually 2 fence rider segments. We've answered questions, the 3 of us and everybody else that's on the show, about a variety of teams. Well, the Cavs, the Guardians, and the Browns. We'll give you our answers and see if you agree or disagree next on the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show.